The truth is that the Obama administration has deported 2.5 million undocumented immigrants from the United States. In fact, Obama is on course to have deported more people in his 8 years in office than all of the presidents of the 20th century combined. With real-world tragedies that many say will forever taint Obama's record on human rights and especially on immigration. So complain as much as you like about Trump's grotesque deportation plans, but the fact is that he's inheriting the most sophisticated and well-funded human expulsion machine in the history of the country from his Democratic predecessor.
We do not want to do anything to encourage more illegal immigration into this country.
Nobody knows about it, nobody talks about it, but under Obama, millions of people have been moved out of this country. They've been deported.
And every place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country.
Look, I voted numerous times when I was a senator to spend money to build a barrier to try to prevent illegal immigrants from coming in.
But we have to send a clear message. Just because your child gets across the border, that doesn't mean the child gets to stay. So we don't want to send a message that is contrary to our laws.
night to do a date night, just the two of us. We don't get to do that very often. We showed up at a restaurant that we love. It's a delightful restaurant. Unfortunately, somehow the protesters were there waiting for us as we walked in. They surrounded us. They screamed at us. They basically shut down the restaurant.
You're a little whitey, aren't you? The First Amendment. Get the
to deem it to be violent and to try and make us look like a mob.
When you see people like Ted Cruz getting chased out of restaurants by a mob.
Oh, you're not going to use the mob word here.
It's totally a mob. It is without a doubt. I mean, there's no other word for it.
Will you let me finish, Matt, please, before you jump in? Okay? Matt, we already did that. We already said they weren't mobs.
October 21st, 2016, they get the FISA warrant to spy on Carter Page.
By the way, you're a naval graduate. You went to the Annapolis?
Yes.
You never met Donald Trump? Never communicated with him in any way?
No.
While in Moscow, you had brief encounters with people that may have been senior government officials.
I said hello.
You're identified a lot in this Steele dossier, you know.
Yes.
Page 9 of it says that you held meetings with 2 Uyghurs. Is anything in the Steele dossier written about you true?
Absolutely not a word.
Not one word?
Nope.
They're completely false?
It's a laughable joke, absolutely.
Has the country been lied to by the media and by Adam Schiff on a regular basis?
It's been nonstop, absolutely.
The FBI and the Department of Justice followed the FISA laws, did everything properly. We now know that is completely untrue. They broke the FISA law.
And James Comey himself says, you know, it's salacious, it's unverified. You know, then you have Christopher Steele himself telling the courts, you know, he didn't verify anything in it. So everybody's using this dossier for a FISA. I mean, this is a violation of the Fourth Amendment if they lied to the FISA courts.
And you broke this on this show almost a year ago.
One of the things that the FBI should have done, under the FISA law they're required to do, go talk to the subject of the dossier, Carter Page. Did they ever do it? No. And the FBI, if they had an ounce of brains, would have said, okay, this is obviously a fabricated dossier.
300 search warrants, 500 witness interviews, 13 countries. No collusion. No collusion.
That you have been lied to by other networks and the news media on a spectacular level for years and years. Quote, the special counsel's investigation did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with Russia in its efforts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential election. Then they used their power to try and influence the 2016 election with Russian lies that Hillary paid for, of all ironies. You know, Britt Hume, 50 years in journalism, called this Russia collusion coverage the worst journalistic debacle of his lifetime. Once Clinton lost the election, the next phase of the deep state corruption, that kicked in. You know, the insurance policy. Hillary's bought and paid for Russian lies. Imagine Russian lies put together by a foreign spy and then used on an American citizen to get entry into the entire Trump campaign in the lead up to a presidential election. People with the highest levels of power abusing that power to exonerate one candidate that we know should have been indicted, to favor that candidate, to rig a presidential election, and then undo the results that they didn't like. After all, we, the American people, we were lied to over and over and over again.
You know, that's interesting here is it's both, on one hand, very damning because it's collusion. You see it there, and it's collusion.
It would seem that collusion is obvious. A criminal conspiracy is unknown.
There's collusion in plain sight. There were the back and forth between various individuals who were affiliated with the Trump campaign.
Journalism, I told you in 2007, it's dead, it's buried, and it's not something that I said lightly. They have earned their horrible reputations.
Clear, the president keeps saying no collusion, but there obviously was collusion. And the question is how high that collusion went and whether the president was part of a criminal conspiracy. There was clearly a criminal conspiracy to defraud the American people of an honest election.
Saw cold, hard evidence of the Trump campaign, indeed the Trump family, eagerly intending to collude possibly with Russia.
All lies. In the end, we now know the truth. Trump, Russia, collusion, the conspiracy theory was nothing more than a coping mechanism by people that couldn't handle losing. James Comey, let's start with him. Let's start with Sally Yates. They need to be investigated. McCabe needs to be investigated. All who signed off on the FISA warrants need to be fully investigated. Susan Rice, Samantha Powers, John Brennan, Clapper, Lynch. And also, if Lynch is running this whole fix, what did Obama know and when did he know it? They all must be now put under oath, investigated, because they weaponized the powerful tools of intelligence and resources, and they literally broke the law. They surveilled against the law. They unmasked Americans against the law. They leaked raw intelligence against the law, an attempted, frankly, coup of a sitting president, appointing a special counsel filled with partisan Democrats, people that went to Hillary's victory party and even represented as attorneys Hillary Clinton.